of that, which is again the complement of that, which is again, this is what we have. When we put it together, this is what we have, but then they say, whatever you just put together, all the way, give me whatever the leftover, which is what is outside of the thing that you just have, which is R and T. R and T is the two items that is not in A or in C. Okay, so again, that's the idea. Hopefully, is bring back a belt, right? We did this. We spent quite a long time with this. So again, hopefully it's bring back. So 2 set is easy, right? 2 set is easy. 3 set, right? How do we do the 3 set? Which is to do the 3 set, you have to know that we need to do inside the parenthesis first, right? So inside the parenthesis, do you agree that inside the parenthesis, this is what they ask you is, we need to find what does B and C have in common, right? So what does B and C have in common, which is B and C? What is in B and also in C, which is in B, also in C, is those 2 items. Those are the items inside B and inside C. And then again, they ask you now, whatever you just find, put that together with A, right? Intersection, not intersection, union A, which is whatever you just find, you have to put that with A, which is again, what is in my A? My A is QSUWY, and now I need to add a Z to it, which is again, the item inside A or inside B and C, which is again, those are the items inside A or inside both A and C. Okay, we do not use the V and the X because V and X is not in B, right? The 2 items or the item have to be inside both A and inside both B and inside C. Okay. Same thing go with this thing here, which is again, the first thing we need to do is we need to combine what is B together with A, right? Which is again, B together with A. Do you agree that we take A and we put it together with whatever in B? So those item is here, which is again, QSUWYZ, right? Which is now, they turn around and they say, hey, wait a minute. Whatever you just did, throw it away, right? Give me the complement of that. The complement of that will be whatever left over, which is the RT, the V, and the X. And then they ask you, whatever left over, which of those items inside C? Which is, again, do you agree that this is the item inside C and outside of A or B? Which is, those are the 2 items, which is, again, regardless of how you do it, this is what you have, which is, again, you can see that RT, VX, what do they have in common with C, which is the V and the X. Okay, so again, those are the idea of this Venn diagram. We did this a long time way back when. Question with this item here, question with this set. All right, if you don't have a question with the set, let's take a look at the application. Let's take a look at application, and then we can do we can finish this, and then on next time I can start back with this thing here if I go too fast this time. But again, let's take a look at number. I have one more problem after this, I think. 26. But again, let's take a look at this thing here, number 23. They say the result of a survey of 50 students indicated 30 like red jelly bean, 29 like green jelly bean, and 17 like both red and green jelly bean. How many students like red or green jelly bean, right? So again, we know that there are 50, but again, we don't really need to know that 50. They did not ask us how many people do not like, right? On your final, they might ask you that, but again, we can do that. But looking at this thing here, the easiest way to do is, again, hopefully you guys remember that we can do the Venn diagram. Or if you remember the formula, in chapter 11, we can do that too, right? Looking at this thing here, the red jelly bean and the green jelly bean. Do you agree that 17 of them like both? We have to start in the center, which is 17 of them like both, right? So now, once we do this thing here, on the red side, once we do 17, we have to take 17, subtract that from 30, right? Which is 30 like them, which is everybody see that in the red jelly bean, there are 30 right now. It's look 13 and 17, but total is 30, right? And same thing go with the green one. I have to take 29 minus that, which is again, looking at this thing here, this is what we have, which is the 12 on the outside, right? So in the center of this thing here, which is again, as you can see, all we need to do is just add them up, because the people in this thing here, they will either like red jelly bean or green jelly bean, or some of them like both, right? So again, 42 of them like either one, right? Either one or both, right? If they ask you a different question, they ask you how many do not like jelly bean, which is you have to take the 55 minus the 14, which is again, if you take the 55 minus 14, there will be 13 on the outside. I did not put it here, but again, 13 will be outside of the two circle, which is that is the people do not like the red or the green. I don't know if there's any other color, but those are the two color here, right? This thing here, just the definition, just again, the word or associated with the union, the word and associated with the intersection. Let's take a look at 25. 25, the information given to you a little bit different, right? So they ask you that the multicolors resident were surveyed concerning their preference for the candidate Morris and Allen, right? In the upcoming election. Of the 800 respond, 300 support neither Morris or Allen, 100 support Morris and Allen, and 250 support only Morris, right? So looking at this thing here, we have only two candidates, which Mr. M and Mr. A, right? So again, looking at this thing here, what information do they give us? Well, we know the total is 800, right? Of the 800 responder, right? So again, looking at this thing here, do you agree that the 300 support neither one, meaning the 300 is on the outside, right? And again, 300 doesn't support anyone, which is again, neither one, which is on the outside, and 100 support both of them, which is again, do you agree that this two number, that's what we have, right? And again, because they have the word only, right? Because they have the word only, this is what I have to do, which is again, only meaning again is 200 on the outside. This different from number 23 because 23 they don't say like the red only or right the green only, right? They just in general 30 of them like red jelly bean and 29 like green, right? So this one here, because of the word only, that's why we have to put that number on that item. So if you have this thing here, now we can answer this question, which is you take the total minus what you use, right? You take the total minus what you use, which is again 800 minus 300 to give you 500 minus 100 to give you 4 minus 250 to give you 150, which is 150. 150 supported Allen by himself, right? Allen got those votes on the 150. Okay. So again, the two information is a little bit different. Actually, I got one more after this. But again, let's take a look at number 26 and 27, and then I guess we can stop here. We will do this problem. We will do this problem next time, which is this is the big survey problem. We can start with this problem next time. That will give you the weekend to look over. But again, let's take a look at 26. A set A contains 5 elements. Set B contains 11 elements, and 3 elements are common in set A and B. They ask you find A union B. So if you remember this thing here, if you remember your mutually exclusive and not mutually exclusive event, this is the same idea, right? The or and the and, right? So look at this thing here. What is and of A or B, which is A or B, which is again, remember, we just need to know the total of A plus the total of B minus what they have in common, which is they give us that information. The A item is 5, The B item is 11, and what they have in common, there are 3, which is 5 plus 11 is 13. 13 minus 3 is 13, right? So again, that's what we have is 13 of them will be in A or in B, right? Which is the same idea what we've been doing with the Venn diagram. And again, the other one we have is looking at this thing here, we still have the same formula, but the item or the information they give us is a little bit different, which is again, set A contain 35 elements, set B contain 22 elements. If there are 40 elements in A or B, then how many elements in A or and B, right? So again, looking at this thing here, do you agree that they give us, this is the formula, this is the only formula we have, which is, do you agree that they give us 40 of them in A or B, which is the union? 35 of them is in A and 22 is in B, which is, do you see that I can just plug into this formula and do my reverse operation, right? Which is, again, looking at this thing here, I need to know what is A and B, which is, again, I can just subtract the 35 and subtract the 22, which give me a negative 17. And again, I can, because there's a negative in front, I can divide by a negative 1, which give me 17, which is there are 17 items that A and B have in common, right? So again, it's just a reverse of the formula. I just plug it in and do the reverse algebra of this thing here. But again, question with this 2 problem that they ask you to use the formula to find the answer or use the formula to do this item here. Any question with this 2?